The Magic Faith of Intuition, Lesson 1. You pray when you ask God to help you. The Magic Faith of Intuition. When God calls you, you'll know it. Real prayer means getting ready and putting a lot of pressure on the universal supply to give you good things. Do something right away as if you expect to get it. By showing an act of faith, you can fill your subconscious mind with hope. A woman who understood the law of readiness bought pricey magazines to feel rich. She should buy the magazines according to intuition. One way to improve your instincts is to tell yourself before bed, "In the morning, I will know what to do." This will burn off your thoughts before you can think of a reason. Your superconscious mind, which is God inside of you, is where intuition comes from. The subconscious is just power that doesn't know what to do. What you say or how you feel deeply, if it is saved in your mind and carried out down to the smallest detail, is your soul and needs to be fixed. Instead of the questions and fears of the conscious mind, put the perfect thoughts of the superconscious mind into the subconscious mind. Say this to yourself over and over: "Be still and see the power in me." When you trust your gut, you often go after one thing and get something else from your superconscious. What you need to know will be shown to you by your instincts. Stay cool and say positive things to yourself. There's no need for anger, defiance, fear, any kind of worry, etc. The thing you don't like will go away. Keep your balance and be still, and the power within will fight your battle. Anger make it hard to see clearly and can even hurt your eyesight, making it impossible to follow your gut feelings. For instance, you greet a friend on the street and exclaim, "What wonderful weather we are having." She responds, "Yes, but you look rather tired," to which you respond, "Oh no, I have never felt more rested in my life." Your mental state has caused a build-up in the back of your neck, which hurts. It's from this phrase that we say, "The back of my neck hurts." You are about to get a cold or something worse. Right away, call on the law of pardon, send your friend love and kindness and say, "Oh, power from above, give me another chance. This time I won't argue. I will be non-resistant, loving and kind." This will get rid of the congestion and all the bad things that come with it. Your friend will like you when you see her again, and it won't matter to you if she does or not. Then you'll say, "What a beautiful day," and she'll say, "How beautiful you look. Where did you get that nice hat?" It's not an emotional reaction. You're done with her. If not, you will keep having the same thing happen to you. When it comes to pearls, poise is the most valuable. What you send out will come back to you in the game of life, which is a boomerang. "Do to others as you would have them do to you," Jesus said. If you hurt someone, you hurt yourself. There is an unknown magnetic force that holds us all together. When you say or think something mean about someone, it will come back to hurt you. If someone is only in their mind, like with karma or return, it will take longer. He comes back very quickly if he is truly mature. You are more responsible when you know more. Take what you've learned and be sure to fully enjoy the long road of learning. If you send good vibes to someone who seems to be your enemy, you will feel very safe. Your only enemies are the thoughts and ideas that are running through your mind. If you hate and resent something, you have drawn it to you because you attract what you fear or don't like. When someone gets unfair to you, you get angry and hold a grudge. That person is not forgiven. After some time, someone else does the same thing. That's because your mind has a picture of an unfair situation etched in it. It will happen again and again until you feel like bad luck and unfairness are following you around. There is only one way to stop it. Don't care about the unfairness at all and send good vibes to everyone concerned. Get your finances in order. You will be surprised at how the law works. Say to yourself, "My goodwill is now a strong tower around me. I change all enemies into harmony and all injustice into justice. Using the above statement, one of my students brought order out of chaos in her business, just like alchemists used to turn all base metals into gold. You have the power to make bad things good. This is why I tell you, believe that whatever you pray for has been given to you, and it will be yours. Lesson 2. Making sure you have enough money. If you want to make things better, be grateful. If you want to make things worse, complain. If you believe your pay, your income, and your investments, which can go down overnight, you have a material attitude toward money. Being spiritual means putting your trust in God to provide for you. Hold on to your places and always remember that they are God's way of showing Himself. As soon as one door shuts, another one opens. Money is a sign of freedom and is part of God's plan. You can get things from an unseen source. It's called the bank of imagination. Before you ask for money or other gifts, say this affirmation out loud. God is my supply, and now great and happy financial surprises are coming to me. Then, do something to show your faith, because faith without works dies. When you buy a new purse or wallet, tell yourself, this is my magic purse to hold the money that the universe sends me. This will make you feel lucky and hopeful. Buy a new fountain pen and tell people, this is a magic pen to endorse me. Get rid of old clothes that make you feel bad about your money. They will bring you down. This is the real prayer, which means getting ready. You feel like you've already received on the unseen level. Manifestation will happen when grace comes. Things should never own you. You should own things. Don't worry about losing things, or they will go away. Things you're afraid to lose are never really yours. And a gift won't stick with you if you don't recognize it. It will just disappear from your life. One woman had beautiful pearls and a lot of money, but she always complained about not having enough and kept saying, someday I will have to eat those pearls. Now her money is gone, and the pearls were sold to buy food and other things she needed. In the same way that radio waves don't come back empty, words and thoughts do. You either defend yourself or blame yourself by the words you use. There is a law that says you should count your blessings. You will get more if you are thankful for what you already have. Always be thankful. Being thankful leads to more, and complaining leads to less. Always be thankful for what you have and for how the unseen supply shows up in your life. I give thanks because the universe is my supply, and I am now linked with endless streams of steady money and ready under the grace of perfect forms. I shall not want, for my supply precedes me, is another good affirmation. Faith needs to become a habit. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you feel poor, you lose money. Nothing shows up in your life by itself. Through the way you think, you are always inviting either poverty or wealth. Now is the right time. I'm having a really lucky day today. Saying a statement of truth to yourself in silence throughout the day can help you fight bad thoughts. When money leaves my account, it touches a secret spring that lets out huge amounts of money that miraculously comes back to me. However, this doesn't mean you waste money or spend too much. Save and hoard, you always lose. You will get more if you use what you have. They will definitely come if you save for a wet day or a sickness. Don't be afraid to use the money you have wisely and easily, because you know that your unseen supply is always there. Soon, the law of accumulation will start to work, and plenty will start to build up. Never say, I'm broke, because that sends a message to your mind that you are empty. Life is like a game of solitaire. Things in your life change as you do. Say to yourself, I am now immune to all pain and anger. Inner power is perfect balance and peace. One of my students told me that her mother always caused trouble at parties at her sister's house. I never want to have dinner in this house again, the mother said. The next year, she was in the hospital. When the student went to see her, The mother said, "God sent me this test, so I will be patient." The student told her, "Mother, God did not send you this illness. You brought it on yourself with your angry words." The mother said, "Leave me alone. I prefer my old God who sends trials and tribulations." The student told her to think positively while she was in the hospital and picture herself walking into Hannah's house happy and cheerful. The mother did that, and to the doctor's surprise, she got better in a few weeks. Eventually, what you see with your inner eye, which is your mind, shows up in the real world. You need to have a clear picture of your goodness, health, success, and happiness if you want them to come true. Faith always leads to good things. A lot of people ask me why it's easier to see failure than success, or sadness than joy. It has something to do with the bad way we were raised as kids. Lots of people have said, "This is too good to be true," when good things happen. This approach has ruined the good for millions of people. You are responsible for the meaningless things you say, which stick in your mind and are carefully carried out. Say to yourself, "I see clearly that my immediate and endless supply comes from a higher power, and all channels are free, and all doors are open. I clearly see that my health is glowing, perfect, and will last forever. In the blink of an eye, I see clearly how my heart's wishes come true." You don't have to force or imagine an idea. It will come to you from the superconscious. The light of lights moves through my mind, body, and affairs, showing that everything is in divine order. It's clear to me that there are no problems in my way. I can see the clear way to reach my goal. Also, it's important to have a happy space with no sad pictures. Organize your work and keep new blotting paper close by. There's nothing like brand new blotting paper to get big checks. A heart that is clean is a heart that is full. A newspaper in London wrote about some African chiefs who went on a tour of the city. The train and an elevator were the first things that caught their attention. They were amazed right away and shouted, "Ah, the ground walks. Now I am on the ground that walks, which magically leads me straight to my promised land." It says, "Don't play sad music for your mind and tell it how you really feel. Your word is like a magic wand. It's never too good to be true, too wonderful to happen, or too good to last. Heaven's first rule is order." Lesson 4. How to get rid of your old ways of thought, thinking. You are the only one who can stop you from doing good. If you keep thinking about a bad thought, it will become a thought form in your mind. Until you get rid of them, these thought forms will find their way into your life. If you have a lot of doubts, you will quickly find what you want. You draw what you fear, and you can't be saved until you get rid of your fears. Don't be afraid to face the lions that stand in your way. Your fears will come out in real life. Say to yourself, "I am grateful for my success whirlwind. I sweep everything in front of me because I work with the spirit world and follow God's plan for my life. It's time for God to do something." This sentence is very strong because it makes you feel like you have a lot of power. There is a divine idea of success that takes the place of the old thought forms. If you don't want to be drawn to someone, don't call them poor. These bad thoughts are too much for the mind to handle. The God in the superconscious mind wins the battle. Say to yourself, "I am drawn to the universe. I have and possess from today and forever all that is mine by divine right." In Cinderella, her stepmother and stepsisters were the thoughts she had created in her mind. An inferiority complex is the idea that almost everyone has a mean stepmother in their mind that stops them from doing good. It looks like the fairy godmother is telling her she can get what she wants at the ball. Your subconscious mind is your fairy godmother. It's like an inner god who can make anything possible. She loses her glass shoes and then gets her prince, which was her wish. You are a galley slave because of your fears. Call on the power within to free you. Say to yourself, "Everything is possible right now. I've reached the seemingly impossible." Go on a journey. Break out of old ways of thinking by changing your surroundings and having new thoughts. Do not make a thought form. People journey great distances in search of a cure and return a different person to the king. When people go to Vicky and Carlsbad, they leave their problems behind and feel much better. The locals are scared and don't get anything good out of it. If you want to get to the promised land, don't build a thought form of envy. You make a jail for yourself. You are the only one who can keep you from your good. One of the worst thoughts you can have is one of self-pity. Things will get worse if you feel sorry for yourself. If you stay above the worry belt of awareness, things will start to happen right away. Things that will bring you success, happiness, or plenty will happen in an instant. Don't let your heart be excited or scared. Health and happiness are the topics of Lesson 5. A person who is peaceful never moves at the same speed as a germ. Being healthy and happy go hand in hand. A lack of balance leads to bad health. Never ask a student what's wrong with you. Ask him who's wrong with you, says one teacher. Anyone who can make you angry, resentful, irritable, sad, etc., causes a harmful reaction in your cells that leads to some kind of disease. For instance, $200 was taken from a woman without cause. That person did something wrong, so she shouldn't get mad. I also told her to take the $200 out of the general reserve because every time one door closes, another one opens. She said she couldn't, and these bad ideas led to a judgment of sins. She asked me why I brought up that subject. I told her, "But you've always been very careful with your money. You've kept track of every penny and saved and borrowed when you knew it was right to spend or give. It would be nice to save, but you can't because it goes against the law of use. Then the karma effects happen, and you end up with a loss that makes the money you should have kept in circulation disappear. And flood of loses often happens when you go against your gut. When you don't have enough or lose something, it affects your blood. When you keep criticizing and blaming others, you build up waste in your blood, which can lead to rheumatism. The evil that comes from hatred and anger hurts the body and causes sickness. Suddenly going from being sad to being happy changes the body's chemicals. Stress and depression make it hard for things to flow properly, which leads to illness. On the other hand, happiness clears the way and health returns. Now is the right time. Today is a very lucky day for everyone. Things would change right away in the world because of this comment. Because words and thoughts are radioactive. They have the power to bring about life and death, success or failure, lack or abundance. People need to learn how to take from the universal supply. This will get rid of all poverty and limits, which are states of mind. As long as people want something, mental matter, a huge ocean of magnetic force, will always take the form of that thing. Treatment can change the shape of the body, which is a clear goal and a statement. I once told a patient to picture herself bathed in the spirit's bright white light, which gets rid of anything that wasn't meant to be. Every day, picture yourself bathed in bright lights, and your body's cells will not notice your age. The joy of the Lord is your strength, so don't be sad or down. Joy gives you more strength, energy, and life. Fear and worry tear the body's cells apart. A lot of healthy people are getting very stressed out because they are losing money, and their hair goes grey quickly. If someone knows spiritual truth, they will lose a lot of money, but they will always be able to see and feel the crest of the wave and not be upset when they see loss. The money was brought back. One woman who came to see me had lost $30,000 because a trader took the money and spent it on himself. She would never get it back, the lawyer told her. It was my advice for her to forgive the man and thank him, but to get back the $30,000 from Spears. When one door shuts, another one opens. I also told her, never feel sorry for yourself and do everything you can to keep feeling rich. And she did. People she met on the street told her, "We don't need to ask you how you are. You never feel bad about yourself. You look like $1 million." A few months later, she got her money back. The vibrations of success and wealth kept coming to her, and they wouldn't stop. A person who is down and out will get a cold, but a person who is happy and brave will not get sick. One example is a woman who goes out in the street in her evening clothes, even though it is cold. She is very relaxed because she thinks she looks good and is full of hopes for a good night. If the same woman comes back in bad mood or badly dressed, she will say she has a cold and is in pain, and the next day she will have a cough. A person who is peaceful never moves at the same speed as a germ. Fear and anger color the view, and resolve and strong personal feelings color the year. If you feel dull, down, or uninterested, change your vibration and keep repeating this affirmation. A wonderful joy is on its way, and this wonderful joy is coming to stay. Someone with a torrid liver is always sad and depressed. He thinks that his liver is the cause of his bad mood, but it's actually him who is the problem. Things that hurt the liver are judging too harshly, blaming, being careful, feeling sorry for others, feeling guilty for no reason, and being jealous. Surely you're wondering why someone wouldn't be careful and picky. His intuition often tells him things that go against what his thinking mind wants him to do, but he doesn't listen to it if he is too careful and selective. The ancients called the liver, or the place where they live, because it is a very sensitive organ and is easily impacted by a bad thin king. Things that hurt the heart are anger, fear, mean thoughts, and so on. The light of lights flows through my mind, body, and affairs, revealing all in divine order. My heart is a happy heart, a fearless heart, a forgiving heart, a kind heart, in its right place, doing its right work. Skin diseases are caused by mental irritation. Someone has gotten under your skin. This way of healing often works right away because the person suddenly understands the truth. Their body is actually a spiritual body that can't be hurt or destroyed, that lasts forever, and that doesn't have birth or death. When you stop thinking negatively, you will be surrounded by your body of light. You will no longer feel sad or sigh, and death will no longer exist. Do not be down or sad, because the Lord's joy is your strength. Bring the future into the present, according to Lesson 6. To make your dreams come true, you have to live in the present moment. Space and time are just dreams. People need to bring their futures into the present. The good things that seem so far away are already planned out for you. You just need to hope that they will come true. One kid, for instance, wanted a watch. I told him to think that he had already gotten it, and a friend soon sent it to him. Realization is showing up. You want to know how to get rid of questions and fears that keep you from reaching your goals. Taking a statement that makes you feel safe and happy is the answer. To get rid of a big dog that scares you, just tell it to go away. Fears and bad looks are usually just big lies. A man who couldn't stop worrying pulled out his watch and told himself he would worry for 30 minutes. He was shocked to find that he didn't have to worry because he had used the law of non-resistance. He asked to see the universal supply down there. I will not get it. The happy man walks with the beat of the hidden music in his head. All the cars are going in his way. He's lucky. Without luck or rhythm, he says, the tide has turned to stay because God has the right of way. You had the right of way. He turned the tide, brought joy and plenty. This means that your future is right now. Make a change in your life to show your faith. Some people dream about the future all the time and never get back to the present. One brother had a big idea, so he went to a big city and met people who could help him. These connections led to fame and wealth for him. The other one was all about what he would do with $1 million, but it was only for people in rural areas. To make your dreams come true, you have to live in the present moment. But make sure that your dreams are in line with God's plan. It's possible that the divine has a plan for your life in your subconscious mind. If not, then work on your dream. Those who dream it say, "Let the divine design of my life be reflected in my conscious mind. Let me see clearly the perfect plan." You can save the conscious mind from its wrong thinking by letting it work with good ideas from the subconscious. If you want something that isn't in God's plan, you may keep getting in the way of it happening, or if it does happen, it will only make you unhappy and bring you bad luck. The core of life is health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. These things are meant for each person, but the great Creator owns the way of creation. One example is that the store sends 2 shirts instead of the one the customer asked for. She picked one she hadn't picked before and really liked it more. After that, she was happy to let the endless intelligence choose everything in her life. I'm out on the open seas without fear because the power of the universe is in my boat. A lot of people are scared of new experiences and freak out when they think about doing something different, even if they can't stand the way things are now. Happy sailing on seas you don't know. Get to your promised land. Doing the same thing over and over again wears people out. Find something fun to do to use a different set of neurons. Playfulness needs to be a part of what you do if you want to be successful. Then problems will go away because they don't bother you. Make the ideal the only thing that exists in your life. To get in touch with himself, man goes to his spirit, which is pure wisdom. Don't just listen to one life radio station. Tune in to the wisdom that knows no limits. Take a moment to be amazed by what you see and remember that your food comes from an infinite source of wisdom. You will always have enough in both the big and the small things. When you don't have any questions or fears, the big things in life will be easy. So, enjoy today to the fullest and bring your future into the present. Listen, I tell you, raise your eyes and look at the fields. They are already white with crop. The house that faith built is covered in Lesson 7. Faith is just being sure that God can do anything. The Bible verse in Hebrews 11:10 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen." This is a scientific statement because our minds are full of magnetic force, and what we imagine is imprinted on those sensitive substances and eventually crystallizes in the outside world. The things that happen to you in life are your own making. Longfellow Henry Wadsworth said, "A man's life is the story of his fears." Why not make it the story of your faith so that one day you can say, "This is the help that faith built. This is the wealth that faith built. This is the success and happiness that faith built." Thoughts of doubt and fear are wrong because they create bad pictures in the mind and cause problems, limits, or disasters to happen. Have faith in the mantras you use and never use one that doesn't make you feel safe. The Gulf Stream is like faith. It flows through the seas. Faith will warm you up and make things better for you. One woman came to me with a physical growth that was very obvious and had been there for a long time, but she had full faith that she could be fixed. She would say, "I have perfect faith that God is doing his perfect work," for weeks on end, but nothing seemed to change. Then one day, she was nowhere to be found. Her friends were shocked and told her, "You should go to the doctor to find out what happened." She replied, "I am fine. God has done his perfect work." Faith is just being sure that God can do it. Every bad thing that happens to you is because you don't have faith. A student got a few $1,000s after not having any for years, but his first move was based on fear instead of faith. He bought lots of shoes in case his money ran out again. His goal was wrong. Be very careful about your own goals, because life depends on them. If he had just wanted a lot of shoes, that would have been a good reason, but he was actually planning to lose money, so he soon had a lot of shoes, but no money. Worrying about bad people causes many people to hold back their symptoms. Someone is bad, someone is unfair or cruel. Being angry is against the rule of love, goes against goodwill, and gets in the way of what you want. Love's law: have faith in God and do good things. It means to always believe in God's power, trust that everything will work out, not let questions or worries get in the way of your actions, and do everything with good intentions. If something bad looks like it might happen, trust your gut and get ready for the gifts you have asked for. Real prayer means getting ready. One woman wanted a radio, so she found a spot for it in a corner and made sure it was clean. If your manifestation is taking too long, it's because you haven't cleaned it. The traveler and warrior in you will get you through this. This is your divine self, your superconscious mind, which has never lost or failed. If you have confident trust, the mountains will fade into your memory and then out of sight. If you ask the universal power to protect you and send good vibes to the lions in your way, they won't be able to hurt you. Nothing good can come to you if you don't believe it will. Everything goes through you, not to you. Someone in sports said they were working on their long jump while they were lying down and watching a win. Someone who doesn't know they've failed, even when they do, is said to have success awareness. His view of success is strong, and bad things don't change it. He is still under a lot of stress. Faith says, "I am wide awake for my own good. I never miss a trick." We've heard people say that some things are bad for our health, but we've never heard them say that other things are bad for wealth. Things like broken chairs, clutter, and so on are bad for wealth because they make us feel bad. One man told me that cleaning up his desk had made his life more organized. He threw away old letters, string, and ink pens that were lost their color, but he kept important papers in boxes. Things outside of him changed, and a new world of order and wealth appeared in front of him. Everything around you changes as you change your mindset. Don't forget about the day of small things, because good things start with small things. It will happen to you because of your faith. Lesson 8. Don't let the thing you really want turn into a heart condition. Every trial is a way to make things better. A lot of people don't get what they really want because they want it too much. It makes them long for it instead of feeling like they already have it. If they thought that there was already someone there to answer their call before they even called, they would be worry and stress-free and happy. The time will come when you can be happy with or without your heart's wish. It will come quickly because your ship will arrive. Something will happen in a sea of "never mind, be happy." If you feel rich, the wealth will show up in the real world. Every kind of pain awakens the spirit. Something has kept you awake. You might have been unfair, rude, critical, intolerant, or unwilling to forgive. You might not have been brave enough to follow your gut. All of a sudden, the meat plants start working again because it's hard for people to break the rules. One example is that you judge someone and now that person judges you. You are unfair and now someone is unfair to you. You were intolerable and now someone is intolerable to you. Now that you're awake, you don't blame other people or events for your sadness. Instead, you think about how you made things worse by making them happen. You were hurt by someone you didn't like, but they were able to do it because you didn't love or accept them. The arrows you shot with poison have come back to hurt you. Invoke the law of forgiveness and say this statement over and over. I invoke the law of forgiveness. I am free from error. I am under grace and not under karmic law. Send love and kindness to the person or people who have hurt you and say, I forgive them. Then, like a kaleidoscope, everything changes, because love is the realization of the law. People who seem to be your enemies become your friends, and they both consciously and unknowingly help the divine plan for your life. You learn to be tolerant by going through pain. If bad things happen to you and make you angry and bitter, you will attract more of the same. Use your karma to make sure that the same things don't happen again. Being wise starts with being afraid of the law. I was in a busy store one day, and saw a little boy standing in front of a big bear that was moving its head back and forth and looked pretty mean. "Little boy, aren't you afraid of that big bear?" asked a stranger. He replied slowly, "No, madam, bears don't bite good kids." He had a clean mind and wasn't afraid to get what his heart desired. One has to get rid of all their karma, as well as their stress, anger, and fear. It's in the law that we have to wait. Being patient means not fighting back. If you follow the rules without fighting it, your wish will come true. A man said, "The good Lord takes his time. He is the only person you can't rush." This was a direct message to me because I was impatiently trying to make something happen. All of a sudden, I understood that the world reacted faster when I was patient and not resistant. Soon, the shape showed up over a calm sea. People often don't show off their good qualities, which sets up clear, happy pathways. The person who thinks that knowledge is infinite knows how to reach enlightenment. One example is a woman who wanted to grow her business. No one was willing to help her, no matter what she did. Put it in the hands of the universe and said, "I'll let the universe take care of this. I'll let it go." Will on your own. A woman she met by chance in a faraway city asked her if she could take on the project while she was on vacation. You have to let the world take over because it is timeless, stable, and doesn't change. Your own will keeps you from going into your own world. For instance, a friend came to tell me she had to sell a diamond to get money. She really didn't want to sell it, and she felt bad that she had to. I told her, "This pin doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the divine spirit. Let's put it on the altar. If it's the spirit's will, you will sell it. If not, you will get the money in some other way." A few days later she called and said, "I didn't have to sell the brooch. I got an unexpected check that gave me the money I needed." She had used this wonderful law of renunciation, which many people find hard to understand. The heart's desire can only be fulfilled by not resisting. One of my students told me that the man she cared for was mean and didn't care about her. He told her out of the blue that he had another event that night, and she was looking forward to spending New Year's Eve with him. She was so angry and hurt that she cried. I stated, "You are completely demagnetized, therefore you are taking the good out of it. When you see him, don't get angry or reproach him for anything. Bless him and tell him you wish him a happy evening. Get rid of your anger." He was shocked when she did that. He didn't understand why she changed her mind. He called her the next day and asked if he could spend New Year's Eve with her. He didn't say anything else about his ideas from before. At one of my Oneness Society meetings, I talked about a way to get rid of all anger and resentment. The light of infinite intelligence flows through your consciousness, dissolving and dissipating all anger and resentment. You are at peace with yourself and the whole world. After the meeting, one woman told me that she felt surrounded by a fiery light that took away all the anger and resentment from her mind for good. She told me, "When you were speaking, I realized that I had lost everything I had ever loved because of anger. But now I feel that I can never be angry again. It was a wonderful experience." Some people believe that it's enough to keep their cool or not show their anger. That's not how it works. The sound still comes out. There will be trouble in your life as long as you can look inside. To be free of anger and its effects, you have to be clean. Don't let how someone looks bother you. I had a patient who once stated, "I should have been angry, but I wasn't. I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. I should have been angry. I should have been afraid, but I was not." Don't let how someone looks bother you. Being able to say, "I should have been angry, but I wasn't," showed growth in spirit. Because you've been through a lot in your life, your mind holds on to bad thoughts and feelings. So, it needs to be refreshed by filling it with the perfect thoughts of your divine self, which is the superconscious. The goal is to love and get along with everyone. I met a man who told me, "Of course I love everybody, but there are many people I don't like." I said, "No, you still have some stains of ill will on your conscience. You will have to go back to the dry cleaners." Every test is a way to clean things up. If they don't bother us, we don't draw them. A friend of mine says that she takes a cab whenever she needs cash and feels rich. On a rainy, wet day, she got a clear tip for a taxi. She shared with me, "I argued with my rich Heavenly Father, and I said, 'God, I'd rather save the dollar and the meter.' So I got my way and took the subway. But when I got home, I found I had lost $1. The most expensive thing is to violate a hunch. If the money is not used for the right purposes, it will go somewhere uninteresting or unhappy." As soon as you make your wish, the endless spirit knows how to make it come true. Your good can only stay away from you if you question, fear, or reason. Trust that God knows the how, the when, and the where, and live in the wonderful present moment with happy hope. Every time you have a bad thought, you need to say something strong in response. The army of strangers will set up camp in your mind if you entertain or pay attention to them. Your doubts, fears, and anger will grow, which will lead to a harvest of bad luck. A good statement is, "I am one with the Almighty Spirit. I am one with my good, for the Spirit is my good in me." Right away, do something. Your gift is already here, waiting for you to believe you can get it. Stress and fear will keep you from doing it. At times, a representation shows up through a clock that is annoying. One of my students told me that he had hoped that a certain project would have been successful. It made him nervous and stressed out. Then something else happened in his life that made him anxious and took his mind off of the business totally. He forgot to be worried about it. All of a sudden, he got a phone message telling him that the business was closed, along with a big check. She had taken her mind off of her worries long enough for the business to close. When you let go of all your fears, there will be nothing stopping every good and perfect gift from coming to you right away, because what your heart desires is no longer a heart disease. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. From Lesson 9, Infinite Intelligence to The Great Magician. Time and distance are only dreams when you know that. You live in the present moment, and time can't affect you. Wonder and magic are both based on the same word. Every once in a while, you should see a wizard to remember that things can appear out of nowhere. He pulls rabbits and ducks out of his hats and a fish tank out of his sleeve, so it must be a trick. Now we need to understand that if we have endless intelligence, things that seem impossible can actually happen. The great magician, the universal power, can turn a curse into a gift, sadness into joy, and lack into plenty. Lesson 10. The power of everything. From sickness to health, etc. There is no end to the good things God has planned for people. The power that lives inside every man can only be put out by doubt or faith. But faith brings the power back. Because of this, we need to do everything we can to believe in that power. A new statement or thought can sometimes give you the awareness all of a sudden. This is called manifestation. I told one of my students that to be a good manifester, they need to become like a child and add the part of play. Then I said, let's think of the universal power as the great magician, and let's take whatever we want or need from his hat. This takes away any doubt about the channel. We can only see the person who gave the gift. One of the present worked in real estate, and a few days later, a client asked his company to find a 7-story building in a certain area. He gave up because it seemed impossible to find what he was looking for. He then closed his eyes, thought of the great magician's hat, and said, "Now I draw from the great magician's hat the right 7-story building in the right place." He quickly went into the building that was perfect in every way. For your own good, stay awake all day and learn something from everything that happens. To give you an example, I took my watch to the jewelry shop to get fixed. They gave it back to me after a month. It was a waste of 10 minutes a day though, because when I put it on my wrist, it fell off and hit the hard floor. You saw the part in The Game of Life and How to Play It, called The Law of Non-Resistance. I picked it up, and it was still ticking king, so I put it on and left. There was no damage to the watch the next day, and to my surprise, it was still telling the right time. It had nailed itself down by the fall. If you hit a bump of any kind, know that you are managing yourself, and that you will feel much better afterward. The person who fights and resents will need to be controlled many times. Because it was made ahead of time, your stock is always with you. This is a great statement that was shown to me. The storehouse of the great magician, now I put on the glasses of the spiritual field. You have the glasses of the spiritual field, which bring joy from far away to you. When you wear these field glasses, you can see more than just money and checks. You can also see health, happiness, success, and other things. Do not try to picture the holy thoughts. Instead, let them come into your mind. As a result of your knowledge of having received, you are now Lin King with your unseen supply. Do not let worry, doubt, or fear cloud your spiritual field glasses. Instead, keep them clear with new faith and motivation. If a friend believes in you, believe in yourself. You can always find a way to give yourself a boost, and all of a sudden, the divine plan will appear right in front of you, because the ground you walk on is harvest ground. Being unhappy means you can't see your good things clearly. So if your questions and fears are getting the best of you, do something right away to show your faith. A woman came to talk to me about her dream home. She was down on her luck because she lived in a small hotel room. To show her faith, I told her to dig a hole. She came back one day with a big package and said, "Bless you." When I asked her what it was, she said, "A carving knife. I can't use that in a hotel." Her active faith, which is planning, led her to the place that God had planned for her. Life is a stage where you can show that your vast intelligence is your protection, your hope, and your instant and endless source of good things. If you say you'll do something and then don't, someone will do it for you violently when you least expect it. For instance, I wore a dress with a belt made of ribbons and long streamers that ended in bows. I kept telling myself, I need to cut that tassel shorter, but I never did. One of the bands seemed too long to me. As they say in the country, I felt a tug and a tear as I climbed into the bus's upper seat one day. When I looked down, I saw that the tassel had come off, leaving the fringe at just the right length. The event wasn't very important, but it taught me not to say I would do something and then not do it. Do not dislike the day of small things. The woman who told me this story showed me that her unseen supply was real. She wanted apple trees to be in bloom now that spring was here. She drove off to visit the nearby farmer. Each farmer she talked to said it was too early for apple trees to be in bloom. She didn't give up, so she tried again. When she asked at the next farm, she got the same answer. She looked out at the garden and said, "Wow, one of those trees has flowers." The farmer answered, "Those flowers just came out after you got here. Trust in God, and things that seem impossible will happen." There was a man I knew who was broke at age 60 and made $30,000 a year at age 76. He said that he was successful after he stopped worrying, which happened when he was poor. His new ships of success came through a calm sea. As long as you believe it, time will show up in your body and in your life. Time and distance are only dreams when you know that. You live in the present moment, and time will never touch you. Here is the mind of someone who has risen to the master level. You will have trouble in the world of 3 dimensions, but don't worry, I've already beaten the world. He had beaten the world, the thought of lack, limits, and death itself, and he had reached the ascent. Jesus blessed the fish, and right away it grew bigger, because he was sure that the work was done by his infinite inner wisdom. He taught his followers and the people. He didn't say more about himself than about other people. After 2,000 years, we can see how incredibly simple his lessons were. I've said many times that most people pay too much attention to his examples and try to channel or guess what will happen with each move. To get the most out of all the tricks in life, all you have to do is say the word, go with your gut, and dig your holes. This will keep you busy living in the present moment, and you won't be able to slow down the world by looking for channels. When I told this old saying to my class, one of the students said, we should have a kettle that would serve, and we shouldn't have to watch it. When it boils, it whistles at you. In the same way, your manifestation will whistle at you when it's ready and when you're ready for it. Many people ask for things that they aren't ready to deal with. You need to grow into what you want to be. The thing you really want is ready, but you are still green. I've known women who were full of fears, doubts and suspicions, and asked for perfect love and company. They appeared in their lives for a short time, but then it ended terribly because old fears and suspicions were stronger than love and faith. You must base your good on a strong faith that doesn't fear anything. Ideals will come true if they are held without shifting. It is useless to say that we have trust and then move in the opposite way. Action affects the mind, and if you run away from a problem, it will run after you. The only way to neutralize fear is to approach what you fear. Self-pity is one of the deadly sins. Woe is me is the worst statement you can make because it separates you from the inner power, and you will have more and more reasons to pity yourself. I give the example of a woman who came to me feeling abandoned and removed from all the good things in life. I gave her the statement, "There is nothing too good for me." She repeated it hundreds of times, and suddenly things started to change. Kind and powerful friends entered her life, and new possibilities for success and wealth opened up. Later, she was granted her heart's desire, which was to go abroad to study music. Bruce Barton says there is danger in hating oneself. Go back to that infinite intelligence, the great magician, for I will make even rivers in the desert. I will compare him to a wise man who built his house upon a rock. Lesson 10. All that the fourth dimension offers is yours. You will get magical results when you really give this supreme intelligence the right of way. The world of the fourth dimension is the world of perfect ideas. As these ideas become established in consciousness, they must come out because your world is crystallized thought. Most people have crystallized wrong conditions because they have served fear instead of faith. It takes a great effort of imagination to believe that life can be made perfect, free from all unhappy experiences. Then, when you believe it, it takes a great effort of will to keep believing when all outward appearances are against it. Do not judge by appearances. All miracles are based on this idea. We can only change the conditions if we do not believe or allow ourselves to be disturbed by appearances. To a woman who is very distressed, I said, "None of these appearances deceive you." She clung to her conscience, and the divine plan for her good triumphed. We can no longer have the faith of a peasant. We must have an understanding of faith through knowledge of spiritual law. We control the conditions. To a student who is facing a financial problem, I said, "Stand back and let God do it." She replied, "That's all there is to it." And soon a new channel was opened for her supply. Yes, that's all there is to it. Let God do it. After all your readings and studies of metaphysics and ancient philosophy, you discover that they teach you only one thing: let God do it. Eastern philosophy says, let the warrior within you fight. This idea appears countless times in all the sacred scriptures. Native American Indians believed that the Great Spirit is the source of their power. A woman visiting the Indians told me that she had interviewed an Indian who had been running all day carrying a message. She asked him if he did not feel tired, and he replied, "I am not tired. The Great Spirit in me makes me run. Trusting God must become a habit, and it often takes a long time to form it. I was inspired to read in the newspaper about Omaha, the famous racehorse. The article said, "Omaha has run a mile before he picks up the pace." At one of my meetings I said, "There are many here who have not yet got into their spiritual rhythm, but I see them all winning their race in the blink of an eye." Often discontent prevents you from getting into your rhythm. You are dissatisfied with yourself and with your conditions. You wish you were someone else. How wonderful it would be to be a beautiful movie star or an heiress of countless millions. On one of my trips to London, I announced the wonderful title of a song, "I'm Dying to Be Me." The first step to success is to rejoice in being yourself and to know that the ground you walk on is sacred ground and you are expanding in a divine plan of your life. In the divine plan, every righteous desire of the heart is fulfilled. You are the protagonist on the stage of your life. You are never left behind in the fourth dimension. The divine plan unfolds following intuition. C. Breton says, "To live intuitively is to live in the fourth dimension." The magical path takes you out of the house of bondage and into your promised land. It is the path of destiny, where your failures are transmuted into successes and disadvantages become stepping stones. I heard the following story on the radio, which gives a wonderful example. A man who could neither read nor write tried to get the position of janitor in a public school. He was rejected because of his illiteracy. Then, a friend got him a job selling cigars. He was very successful, selling hundreds of cigars and depositing the money in the bank with the help of a friend who wrote the deposit slips. After several years, he discovered that he had deposited $30,000 and decided to withdraw some. The teller told him to write a check for the amount he wished to withdraw. The man replied, "I can't read or write." The paying cashier was astonished and exclaimed, "My God, man, you've accumulated $30,000 with no education. Where would you be if you could read and write?" The man replied, "I would have been a janitor in the public school." On the corner of Hyde Park in London, people are allowed to go up to the stands, gather the public, and express their opinions on any religious, political, or personal subject. They can say what they want about the ruling family, etc. The government believes it is a good way to allow them to let off steam. In passing, I stopped to listen to a poor, helpless individual who was shouting at the top of his voice, "God does not exist, and I can prove it." I thought, you have never proved God, or you wouldn't be where you are. If I had had with me a copy of The Game of Life and How to Play It, no doubt I would have placed it over his state with a blessing. We prove God by showing an act of faith, which puts to flight all adverse appearances. There is nothing left out of the fourth dimension. I have often been asked if infinite intelligence supplies all our needs, and why is it necessary to pray for anything? I have answered, because that is the law. Man must take the first step. He must push the button to turn on the electric light. Many people never make big requests to the universal supply because they think it is asking too much. A woman came up to me and asked, "Is it wrong to ask for the things you really want, or should you only ask for what is necessary?" I replied, "What are the things you really want?" She said, "Love and beauty." I answered, "If you want them, they are necessary." When you have the fixed idea that there is only one power in the universe, all appearances of evil will disappear from your world. The problems come from the belief in duality, good and evil. To get a demonstration, we must know that infinite intelligence is the only power. Evil comes from the false imaginations of man. I was in a restaurant with a friend who spilled something on her dress. She was sure it would leave a stain. I told her, "We will give you a treatment. The evil is unreal and leaves no stain." There was never the slightest stain left on the dress. There was no way of knowing where the accident had occurred. In the fourth dimension, the evil has never registered. Only in his mind, man experiences loss, lack, failure, disease, pain, etc. Often people go through life resentful and disgruntled with some particular person, thus keeping alive the unhappy and harmful situation for the mind, body, and affairs. One woman came in very full of resentment toward her niece. Everything her niece did irritated her. She said to me, "All I can think about is how badly my niece cleans her silver." It seemed like a trivial matter, but it was reacting on her in the form of rheumatism. I said, "Send her love and goodwill, and don't give her any advice. Let the infinite wisdom enlighten and direct her." To her surprise, her niece gave a wonderful shine to the silver and changed in many ways. You will get magical results when you really give this supreme intelligence the right of way. The tide has turned to stay because God has the right of way. I gave this statement when I was speaking in California. A man in the audience came up to me after the meeting and said, "That is a wonderful statement. I am an engineer, and I know what it means to have the right of way." Desire is a tremendous power, and it must be directed correctly. You can desire the wrong things and the wrong conditions. So, to give the supreme intelligence the right of way, you must say, "I desire only what God desires through me." The wrong desire will vanish and will be replaced by the right aspirations. When you look back, you will say, "Thank heaven that I did not get